right, guys, welcome to 2023 and welcome to the garage. A lot of you guys asked for the Platinum. The Platinum is here. She's ready to go. Actually, she's not ready, but I'm getting her ready. We'll touch on that in a minute. We got the Platinum and we got the single cab, both Powerstrokes in the shop. But check this out. So it's 23 and there's a lot of new Powerstroke products on the market. And today we're gonna cover the top 3. These are my opinion on the top 3 new Powerstroke parts for 2023. Coming in number 1, this is gonna go from good, better, best. Number 1 being good. This is gonna be a proper unbox. All right, so number 1, big old stack here. Whoa, buddy. So first part of the video actually contradicts myself of best Powerstroke parts for 23. This applies to all Super Duties. This could go on a gasser. Okay, so what you're looking at here is the new to market SPE Billet Cab Mounts for the 11 to 16 Super Duties. Now, if you see that truck behind me, the body line on the cab doesn't 100% meet up with the body line on the bed. That truck's a 2011, has 144,000 miles on it. Pretty expected. Whenever you need to fix that, you need to get cab mounts. All right, so right out of the gate, this is a fresh SPE Dan design, which I can't even freaking get it apart. O-ring sealed, there's O-rings on everything, and this is just an absolute like crazy looking piece for a cab mount. You know, you have a top billet section, bottom billet section, there's O-rings, there's isolators, there's cups, there's things, and there's all kind of stuff going on. They're O-ringed and made with premium parts, and you get new hardware. So first part is a kind of a repair part. So this is a necessary repair part to fix your cab mounts that might be bad on your 11 to 16 Super Duty. Now I'm sure 17 plus are coming soon, but for now, all you get is 11 to 16 Super Duties for the new SPE Billet Cab Mount. All right, we're gonna keep this video ripping because everyone's attention spans are super short because of TikTok and shorts and short form content. Whew. All right, guys, spoiler alert, I already opened this one. This one is absolutely epic. This is something I'm actually very excited about. So in this box is the new SPE Cat fuel filter system. Now this is a pretty serious part. Hey guys, really quick, all these parts are linked below. Check them out. So right out of the gate, unboxing this stuff, you get some fuel lines, you get some factory Ford connectors, quick connectors with barb fittings on the rear. So that means we're plug and play. Coming in with the bubble wrap on top, you have the main rig itself. Now this is a serious piece of machinery. Oh my goodness. Check this thing out. Now this is a seriously heavy duty piece here. All right, so on the tank of these 17 plus Powerstrokes, you have a fuel water separator. Now it's a big kind of canister looking deal that kind of looks like this from a top image. It's about this size, you know, dimensional, you know, left, right, top, bottom. It's about this size of a box in there. And for you guys that do regular maintenance on these trucks, it's not ideal to get under there, drain the water, drain the fuel filter. You can create a siphon, you can drain your tank. I've actually drained this whole tank by cracking that water separator fuel drain valve loose. It created a siphon in the whole tank. Drained because I wasn't paying attention, I wasn't in the shop, and it just on the floor. And whenever you do your fuel filter service, you got to change the top filter, which is in the engine bay, and then you have to change the bottom filter, which is the water separator. So you got to go to Ford, you got to spend 75 bucks or whatever the price is, somewhere around there, on a fuel filter kit, because you got to get the top and the bottom. They sell them only as a kit, you can only get both. And then you got to go through the whole process of that. And with the CP4s being as finicky as they are, it's better to change those sooner rather than later. So every oil change, probably best to do the factory Ford filters, just for the size and the filter capabilities that they are. So for better filtration and easier serviceability, you have this ginormous apparatus. So where this goes is where the factory fuel water separator goes, that you drop that whole can out. This goes up in there, you connect all the lines with the factory push connections, and you're done. Now this whole top piece is a monster chunk of billet, and then you have your water separator filter and your fuel filter. And you guys, we don't need to touch on the whole Cat filtration microns because I'm sure everyone knows that they're legit. So not only do you get this whole deal here, which is very, very plug and play, very simple, you get a new top manifold. So this is very cool because this gets rid of the top fuel filter in the engine bay. So this little manifold will mount where the factory fuel filter goes under the hood, and you reconnect all the 3 lines that would normally connect into your top fuel filter, and boom, you have no more fuel filter under the hood. So it frees up some space, it looks a heck of a lot cooler, and you no longer have to deal with changing a fuel filter under the hood. Because I swear every time I do that, I drip a little bit of fuel everywhere. So then when you're ready to do a service, you just unscrew the fuel filter, water separator, drop these out, slap a new one in, and you're done. And the service rate on the cat filters is like 4 times the factory Ford. So hypothetically, you could get away with doing these once a year rather than the factory Ford ones like 4 times a year. So boom, very, very excited about this. This is for that truck. So we're gonna do a whole install video on this coming soon. So stay tuned for that. All right, number 2, 2017 and up cat fuel filter system for 6.7 Powerstroke. All right, guys. So the best of all, unfortunately, I do not actually have one here. I know, boo. We're not gonna get to an unbox on it in this video, but I have to include it. I wasn't gonna, but I have to include it because it's the thing that I'm most excited about out of all the new Powerstroke parts for 23. All right, so coming in top of the charts, we have the Stage Two 6.7 Powerstroke VGT Modified Turbo from SPE. Now, what the heck is that, you may ask? Well, it's pure epicness and rip your face off power. So what you see here is my modified turbo off of this truck here. For everyday drivability, this was honestly my favorite turbo. This thing ran absolutely great. It was killer on the bottom end. It wasn't too much of like a race turbo. Like when I transitioned from this to the S370, lost a little on the bottom end, but that thing just pulls to the moon, and that's what I was looking for. But for everyday drivability, towing, using the truck for work, just, you know, using the truck for it being a truck, this was my absolute favorite setup. So this here is considered the Stage 1 Modified VGT Turbo because this is a 62 millimeter compressor wheel. Now through SPE Dan's testing, the 62 puts out the maximum amount of power and ratios and the whole inner workings of the turbo where you're gonna get maximum performance without having to change anything on the turbine housing. So this is considered the Stage 1. This turbo on that truck, when we did the crazy tune on it, it was just over 600 some horsepower, which was absolutely ripping on an instant spool, instant boost kind of deal. Now this is just the Stage 1. So new for 23 is a Stage 2, which is a completely custom, completely redesigned VGT turbo for the 6.7 Powerstroke. Now it'll appear to be the same, but the Stage 2 is in fact not. Everything on the Stage 2 from front to back is completely custom and completely different. Coming straight into the front on the Stage 2, you have a 66 millimeter compressor wheel, which is monster for a VGT turbo. Now to accompany that monster compressor wheel, you have a 73 millimeter inducer with a 66 millimeter exducer turbine wheel. So to get the maximum optimization out of your compressor wheel, you have to have a proper sized turbine wheel. They got to go together. So it's not like you can just take this and slap a monster compressor wheel in there because you have surge issues, drive pressure issues, all kinds of weird issues. It won't run properly. So not only does it have a bigger compressor wheel and a bigger turbine wheel, it has completely redesigned bigger AR ratio compressor housing and turbine housing. So the front compressor housing, what you see up here, is completely redesigned with a much larger AR ratio, as well as the turbine housing. And if you guys are familiar with the turbine housings on the factory VGT turbos for the 6.7 Powerstroke, they are goofy looking. It's not like your standard T4 flange or anything of the sort. It has a top thing that comes off of each manifold, you know, so you have a passenger side manifold, you have driver side manifold hooks to this side, and you have passenger side hooks up to this side, so you have little up pipes and down pipes that come around the back. So a lot goes into remanufacturing one of these to have a bigger AR ratio. So I was actually at the SPE facility when they were doing the initial testing with the Stage 2 VGT on the hub dyno. Whoa, dude.
Scared standing here.
It spools almost instantly and it has a 6-blade compressor wheel, so it whistles like crazy. So yeah, the compressor wheel is a 6-blade billet wheel, and then also the turbine housing isn't your standard like slap a 6.0 Powerstroke turbine wheel in there. Is actually a 10-blade custom design around the 6.7 because the 6.7s flow a little bit more volume. So lastly, it also has a through-bore center section with a solid shaft that goes all the way through, and it has full 360-degree thrust bearings. So essentially, this is a complete redesigned VGT turbo for the 6.7 Powerstroke, fully optimized for maximum performance while still retaining a complete drop-in turbo that'll work with everything on the truck. No tunes are even required to slap the thing in. So there you go, guys. There's my top 3 picks for 2023 new Powerstroke parts to the market. Now, hopefully we can get our hands on one of them Stage 2 VGTs very soon. I don't know if we're going to put it back in that truck, if we're going to put it in the single cab. I don't know yet, but I want to get my hands on one. There's a handful of other new parts on the market, which we'll be covering soon. I got a pile of parts sitting over there that we're going to put on some stuff. We're going to do install videos on all of this. All right, so Platinum update. So check this out. So I got a little carried away when I painted the single cab. I didn't do what I needed to do with proper paint, barrier deduction, exhaust fans, and covering this. I just got a little carried away where I just was excited and I just wanted to freaking paint the thing. Okay, so the Platinum was sitting there and it got completely covered in overspray. And I'm talking like not just like a tiny bit, like heavy overspray. You couldn't even see in here whenever we were spraying. So I actually just washed it for the first time since I pulled it out of the garage. Yeah, I pulled it out of the garage, didn't even wash it, and just kept driving it. So taking a quick look at it, you can see overspray here. So what I did when I washed it, I deconned it, I clay barred it, I went over it real good with, you know, nice wash mitt, some purple power and a clay bar and some quick lube stuff, and you can hear it. So on the parts that were, you know, more slanted that could catch the overspray could sit on, obviously, are way heavier. So you can see all this action here. That's all overspray. This area here, the hood, the flat parts of the bumper, but the bumper's wrecked anyways. I'm gonna get a new bumper. And then the roof. Other than that, the truck is pretty clean. I mean, like, pretty clean. These edges here were able to come real clean with the clay bar, and everything else was completely fine. You can see the overspray line on the window right there, like that's overspray. We got smoothness, overspray, you can hear it. So with a quick clay bar, it got about 90% of the junk off of the truck. So I'd say I got kind of lucky in that idiotic move that I pulled of just letting it sit over here while we were painting, which I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't even know why I did that. All right, you see my top 3 new Powerstroke picks for 23, and you also seen an update on the Platinum. So hit that subscribe button, join the family. Watch out for when we install all this cool stuff. And like I said, there's a lot more on the horizon. Should I do a 2020 plus front end swap on the old rig here and cover how to do it? Part numbers, how to do it, if you got to change anything, and just, you know, do a video on the whole process. Because if I have to get a new bumper, I might as well get the 2020 stuff, but then I got to get lights and a grill, which I think are kind of pricey. But all right, guys, I'm out.